During the process of this performance, I've developed a new set of skills which I can incorporate into future projects in my career. The fundamental skill I learnt was acting through song. This is an obvious skill due to the fact that my character was part of 4 different songs, but it's a skill I'm very proud of because I look back 2 years from now when I first started performing, I was terrified of singing in front of people, and the fact that now I've been able not only to sing in front of a large audience but also learn how to control my vocal delivery is very special to me. Another skill I developed which was very tough for me was getting through uncomfortable scenes, such as the rape scene and the sex scene. I didn't know how difficult and personal it was to reveal myself physically to an audience. It made me feel vulnerable at times. On the other hand, sexual abuse is always a delicate topic to narrate because it can have an emotional impact. It blocked my performance the majority of times, but I feel that through that uncomfort, I've experienced an artistic growth. Through all of that, I can say that my emotional intelligence has increased as well. I found that although I was very uncomfortable at times, I didn't allow the fear to prevent me from achieving my goals. Empathy is something critical that I always mention when I work with groups. If I was not able to put myself in any of my colleagues' situation, then the process would have been a lot more frustrating than when it was. The example I can highlight was the sex scene I was part of. The colleague that shared that scene with me never really felt comfortable doing it. And I thought that the most mature approach to that situation was to assess the situation from her perspective and make her feel as comfortable as possible, see what I could do to help her. In my very honest opinion, I think I could have emphasized certain aspects of my character, which would have given a clearer idea to the audience of how Jim does not really care about his values or what he stands for as a human being. Entertainment-wise, I could say that I did a very good job, but I don't think I reached my potential artistically. There was enough content to keep the audience connected, but there wasn't enough to reflect key themes of the project. One of the few things I have learned from receiving the audience's feedback is to trust my own instincts during the process and the performance, and always to be 100% confident in the material I create, even if it feels like I'm doing something wrong during the process. On the Friday performance, I learned a great lesson, which was to not let my performance alter depending on the audience's reactions. There was a big contrast between the both audiences. Our Thursday audience was a much more open audience and did not shy away from expressing emotion with laughter or different sounds. On the other hand, Friday's audience was a much more introvert audience who decided to keep their emotions to themselves. That made the process a lot harder for us because it made me feel like I was doing something wrong. But after hearing the good reviews from both audiences, it proved me that all self-doubt is a false reality that has been created by my insecurities. In general, I can say that most of the objectives I set myself for this project have been successfully achieved, and I will be completing this last project with the satisfaction of knowing that I managed to overcome all doubts and insecurities in myself.